In any field, success at an early age can create elevated expectations. A couple of years ago, Adrien Broner became the second youngest fighter to win world titles at 4 different weights. As a result, I've never questioned his boxing talent, but at times, that exceptional talent has been overshadowed by legal issues, failures to make weight, and disturbing behavior. Broner is about to turn 28, so there's still time for him to focus on his ring future. But at this point, he's more an enigma than the superstar some projected him to be. A native of Cincinnati, Broner turned pro at 18. He won his first 21 bouts, then in 2011 captured a vacant world title at super featherweight. After making one defense, he vacated the title on the scale, but quickly won a world title at lightweight. And only 7 months after winning that crown, he made his Showtime debut by challenging welterweight titleist Paulie Malignaggi at Barclays Center in Malignaggi's backyard of Brooklyn. Broner was 26-0 and still only 23 years old. He wasn't just accelerating, he was approaching the speed of sound. I remember even hearing suggestions that he was the heir apparent to the best fighter in the world, Floyd Mayweather. The Malignaggi fight upped Broner's profile, and not just because he was jumping 2 divisions and trying for a world title in a 3rd weight class. It was an excellent matchup on paper, but that seemed almost secondary because the pre-fight hype was consistently outrageous, always personal, and sometimes even vulgar.
Wow. Things getting very interesting early here in Brooklyn.
As it turned out, the fight by itself was pretty damn good.
Left hook to the body and a left hook upstairs by Broner.
A recurring theme in Broner's fights has been slow starts. This came close to costing him against Malignaggi, who in the first half simply outworked Broner.
The volume punching by Malignaggi continues.
Credit Broner, a natural counterpuncher, for adjusting. He accelerated in the later rounds.
Clearly the momentum in this fight swinging to Adrien Broner.
Landing the harder shots, and took the title by split, but deserved decision. Broner was a Triple Crown champion, having won world titles at 130 pounds, 135, and 147. Boxing is a most unforgiving sport. Sometimes a fighter loses a bout, then spends the rest of his career trying to erase that memory from the public's consciousness. In December 2013, Broner defended his welterweight title against Argentinian bomber Marcos Maidana in San Antonio. Maidana was dangerous, but he had been comprehensively outboxed by slick welter contender Devin Alexander, and there was every reason to think Broner was going to do the same thing. The odds makers sure thought so. They made Broner a 5-to-1 favorite to keep the title. Ouch. Suffice to say that Broner had never experienced the type of power and pressure applied by Maidana.
Maidana off to a very quick start here.
In the second round, Maidana's left hooks repeatedly found their mark.
Broner goes down for the first time in his career, and he's hurt.
And after rallying in spots, Broner was downed again in the 8th.
And a left hook drops Broner for the 2nd time in the fight.
Broner showed heart throughout his nightmare of a night, and even managed to take the 12th and final round.
They're trading hooks, and right now Broner's is getting there a little quicker.
The beatdown, however, was reflected by the official scores, unanimous and wide for Maidana. Broner was no longer unbeaten, and while he's gone on to win 6 of 7 and added a world title in a 4th division, it can be argued that he's never fully recovered. One question Broner had to ponder after his loss to Maidana was what division was best for him. In May 2014, he hinted at the answer, dropping down to super lightweight, or 140 pounds, for his showdown with Carlos Molina.
Broner, a 3-division champion, making his debut at 140 pounds.
Again, a slow start. But from the 4th round on, Broner dominated with superior hand speed, combination punching, and ring generalship en route to a 10-round decision win. Next up was a homecoming, Broner's first fight in Cincinnati in more than 2 years. There was plenty of bad blood between Broner and Emmanuel Taylor leading up to their 12-rounder, culminating in a nasty final press conference. The official fight was equally high-spirited, with a familiar storyline. Taylor won several of the early rounds, backing Broner to the ropes in an effort to apply the swarming tactics that had been used so successfully by Maidana.
I don't think Broner wants to languish on those ropes too much in this fight.
Over the second half, however, Taylor decelerated.
Good work by Adrien Broner. And the crowd here loving every second of it.
Then in the 12th round, the two went toe-to-toe, and Broner closed the show, much to the delight of the hometown crowd.
20 seconds left. Broner, he knocks him down in the 12th with a beautiful right uppercut. Wow! Adrien Broner punctuating a terrific performance with an exclamation point right in the dying stages of the fight. Beautiful.
Two fights and 9 months later, Broner upped the level of his opposition by taking on Shawn Porter in a catchweight bout halfway between super lightweight and welterweight. The superb matchup was a crossroads bout. Two young, high-profile former champs meeting in primetime TV on NBC. Very early on, a familiar pattern emerged. Faced with an opponent who wasn't setting a quick pace, Broner produced a low punch output. And shortly after, when the naturally physical Porter began to chug forward and force infighting, Broner responded mostly by holding. It wasn't a pretty fight, but whatever effective punching there was, it was done by Porter. Finally, 10 seconds into the final round, Broner made Porter pay for his aggressiveness with a perfect shot. But even a 10-8 round couldn't help Broner's cause, and Porter won by unanimous decision. Before Broner could try once more to re-establish himself as one of boxing's best, there was unfinished business to tend to. In winning 3 different world titles, Broner had skipped over the 140-pound division. The WBA super lightweight title was vacant, and in October 2015, Broner clashed with Russia's Khabib Berdyev, who had previously held the same title. The bout first began to heat up in the third, with both fighters scoring repeatedly with right hands. But as the rounds mounted, it was Broner who was doing the most damage, as evidenced by Berdyev's face.
Broner picking up the pace, now beginning to show signs of the Adrien Broner we've seen in the past. The fans in Cincy enjoying every second of it.
In the 7th, Broner even found time to interact with the crowd.
Now Broner's talking to Malignaggi here at ringside.
He's having fun, though. This is how he gets in his rhythm.
And Broner just winding up, teeing off, lands the right through the guard.
Down the stretch, Broner dominated.
Adrien Broner trying to close the show in front of his hometown crowd. Good body shot indeed in the right hand. Left hook, right uppercut. Broner, and that's enough.
And when he halted Berdyev in the 12th, I was reminded of a simple fact. If Broner could fight every round the way he fights the last round, he'd be unstoppable. One of only 16 fighters to have won world titles in 4 divisions, Broner was a champion again, but not for long. Before what was scheduled to be his first defense, a battle in Washington, D.C. with Ashley Theophane, Broner scaled a ½ pound over the super lightweight limit. Oddly, he made no attempt to shed the ½ pound, instead electing to relinquish the title on the scale.
Oh, and a nice shot with a right hand by Broner. He thinks he's got something here. He throws a flurry to try and get him out of there.
Broner ultimately proved too strong for the willing and competitive Theophane, wearing down his British opponent with hooks to the body.
Does Broner sense the same thing? He closes in into the corner. And another right hand lands. Theophane can't see it, can't stop it, and Broner goes for the kill. And that's it.
Despite the protest of Theophane, the match was halted in the 9th round. Broner left the ring a winner, but without a title belt. For that matter, of the 4 world titles Broner has held, he's lost only 1 in the ring. Ten months after beating Theophane, Broner returned for his first fight as a full-fledged welterweight in 4 years. His opponent, Adrien Granados, was a plucky sort, the type of fighter who figured to bring out the best in Broner. At times, Granados did just that, while fighting very well himself. Granados mixed movement with sudden attacks, and while he was the busier fighter throughout, Broner was more accurate and landed what were undoubtedly the heavier punches.
hard left hand by Broner.
As usual, Broner did well in the later rounds.
Now Broner measuring up Granados.
And at the final bell, most observers felt the fight could go either way. Indeed, it was a split decision, with the winner, Adrien Broner. Broner is now 27 years old. He'll turn 28 the day before his next fight, a 140-pound rumble with lightweight champ Mikey Garcia, who's moving up in weight for this battle. This is a critical moment for Broner. It might seem harsh to label a fighter who's won world titles in 4 weight classes an underachiever. But if Broner is going to be considered among the best in the world, he has to beat at least some of the best in the world. The undefeated Mikey Garcia is certainly among the very best. In fact, he's a prohibitive favorite to defeat Broner. This is exactly the type of opportunity Broner needs at this point in his uneven career. On July 29, we'll see if he makes the most of it.